Instagram story with the caption, "We still gave too much for him, huh? Monster." Bro, you different. What, Nick?
Well, no, that's a great caption because that was the narrative by allegedly intelligent basketball people is, oh, you can't trade away the young core in those picks. And that young core, and by the way, the last piece of that young core
might be getting traded away soon.
Hey, man, you need to watch what your trainer says on the gram. You might get shipped out as well. This is a league of grown men, of veterans. And Ingram, by the way, is playing sensational basketball in New Orleans. He is. And he might turn into an all-star as early as next season, maybe even this season. But
they're doing in LA this year with these
come on. This was anyone that argued the Lakers gave up too much, just remember who they are, write it down, and the next time they have a hot basketball opinion, be like, well, you did say that Anthony Davis, you can't lose Josh Hart in your 2025 first-round pick. What are you going to do? Give me a break. A break.
Got all that? Time now for stories to start your morning. Tom Brady and the Patriots were eliminated from the playoffs on Saturday. After the game, Brady said retirement is, quote, unlikely, but he doesn't know, quote, what the future holds. Nick, should the Patriots want Tom Brady back next season?
Only if he would take a enormously reduced salary, which I don't think he's going to. Well, he's making $23 million this year, or $21.5 million this year. I don't think he's going to do that again, and I don't think he, at this point, is worth even average NFL quarterback money, because at this point he's a below average NFL quarterback, taking nothing away from what he accomplished. This year ended the way it looked like it was going to end, maybe a week earlier than I expected. So I know Brady wants to be back. I don't know that Belichick wants him back. I think he might want to rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I think he's back. I don't see a successor plan in place. They had one in Jimmy Garoppolo. He's now with the 49ers. Yep. I don't see anything moving forward outside of Tom Brady. And if they want to start over, then great. They can try to start over. Belichick can try to start over without Tom Brady, without a quarterback, and see how that feels for the first time in his Patriot career. And it might not look so good.
What's the most you'd pay Tom Brady, Nick?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. $16 million?
Oh. To the NFC now?
Nick.
What?
That's why you're sitting on this. That's why you're sitting right here at this desk.
$16 million. It feels right. What? Why are you guys? I don't know.
I wish they could see your face right now.
I know. Vikings taking on the Saints in New Orleans. Kirk Cousins, everyone in the studio laughing at Nick. What? Kirk Cousins making some big plays down the stretch, leading Minnesota to a big overtime win. Nick, did Cousins quiet his doubters yesterday?
Yeah, that's a $28 million quarterback. What? It is. And you saw he made the throw to Thielen, made that throw to Rudolph. That's about $28 million.
He didn't hand the ball off?
Very happy for Kirk. I don't think Kirk's a great player, but Kirk's a good player. And because he was 6-30 against teams that finished with a winning record, he was rightfully criticized as not being able to get it done in big spots. No bigger spot than in New Orleans against a 13-3 Saints team in overtime, and he made the two biggest throws of his career, including the best throw of his career to Thielen. Good for him. He, at least for the short term, quieted the
I was going to say, he quieted everyone for now. And it's all about what he continues to do moving forward. But for right now, he made some phenomenal plays in that game in big moments of the game. And that's all we've ever wanted Kirk Cousins to do. And it's what he has not done up to this point. He did it. Congratulations.
All right, moving on to the Dallas Cowboys. It may have taken a little longer than most people expected, but Dallas has officially moved on from Jason Garrett. It is being reported that Dallas has already interviewed both Mike McCarthy and Marvin Lewis this past weekend, both established NFL head coaches, to fill Garrett's position. Nick, who do you think should be the Cowboys' next head coach?
I think the number one option should be Josh McDaniels. If you can get past the fact that he reneged on a deal with the Colts, which the whole league seems to have gotten past. They don't care about that, so why should I care about it if other teams don't?
His first stint in the NFL.
Well, but every coach who's available that has experience, their first stint in the NFL at some point didn't go right, or else they wouldn't be available, right? Like Marvin Lewis, it didn't end well. Mike McCarthy, the last 2 years weren't great. You can argue Josh McDaniels the whole time in Denver was not great. I understand that. But I feel like that was a long time ago, and I feel like a lot of these guys, much like Belichick in Cleveland or Pete Carroll with the Patriots, you learn from your failures and you get better the second time around. But I think they are on the right track here. wanting a coach with NFL experience. The number one thing I would not do if I were Dallas is hire a college coach. Urban would be the one guy that I maybe would be able to set aside because I think he can walk into a locker room and grown men NFL players respect him.
Yes.
A lot of them played for him. Everyone played against him, or to some degree, you know people in the league. Coached so many pros at Florida and Ohio State. You know what he's about, and he has not Lincoln Riley, not Matt Rule, certainly not Dan Mullen. Some of these names of guys that I think could come to the NFL and utterly flame out. I don't think Urban would flame out. I don't know how long he would coach for, but I don't think it would be a failure because I think he has that presence about him. But I think the right move is to establish an NFL head coach. And people laugh at Marvin Lewis. Man, Marvin Lewis took over the worst franchise in all of sports, the Cincinnati Bengals, turned them into a respectable franchise. They made the playoffs 7 times. I know they were 0-7 in those playoff games, which is awful. But 5 of those 7 games, they were at an enormous disadvantage at the quarterback spot. There was only one playoff game they played where you would say, oh, they definitely had the better quarterback and lost the game anyway. I think Leslie Frazier is a good option. The defensive coordinator up in Buffalo who's done an excellent job. Also, listen, he won a division with Christian Ponder as his quarterback and then lost his job the following season. So I think they're on the right track here. I don't love the Mike McCarthy option because I saw Mike McCarthy so recently be an NFL head coach that I did not think was putting his offense in the best position when as an offensive-minded head coach. You played for Mike McCarthy. Do you like Mike McCarthy as a potential head coach for the Cowboys?
I do like Mike McCarthy as a potential head coach for the Cowboys for a lot of reasons. Number one, he's made 9 playoff appearances out of 12 seasons with the Green Bay Packers. A storied franchise, a franchise where he took over. They were 4-12 leading into that year, missed the playoffs. The year before that, in 04, they were 10-6 and lost in the first round of the playoffs. Kind of similar to the Dallas Cowboys. Last year they made the playoffs, lost in the divisional round. This year they missed the playoffs, and now they're looking for a head coach. He has been in a position where he's taken over a storied franchise. He's dealt with arguably some of the top talent in football at the quarterback position in Brett Favre and now Aaron Rodgers. And so he could go into a situation and command control right away. Offensively, that's the only shaky spot where I feel like he could remedy that by bringing someone in to really take over that, and he just
or leaving Kellen Moore.
Or leaving Kellen Moore, because Kellen Moore has not been bad. They look really good.
I was going to say, reportedly, I think Charles Robinson reported, some of these meetings, Jerry Jones has made it clear he would like Kellen Moore to stay in place as the offensive play caller. I wonder if that turns off some potential coaches.
And it will, because one thing we know about head coaches, they want to facilitate and organize and structure their own staff. Period. I don't care who it is. You look at Matt LaFleur even last year going to Green Bay. He had to stick with Mike Pettin. Now it's worked out, but if he were given an option, I guarantee he would have interviewed other guys and possibly went with another guy because they feel like those guys that they interview are going to be loyal to them and they're going to be able to comply right away. And when you try to keep and hold over guys, you got that Jerry Jones influence already. That's why we saw Jason Garrett.
So besides the Jerry Jones factor, Dallas is a coveted position. They did take their time in releasing Jason Garrett for the most part. It's not like they're the only team that are looking for a head coach. There are 4 or 5 other big-name teams, big market teams also looking. I wonder what the time frame is for Jerry Jones and how quickly, just because these guys are interviewing at other places.
Well,
Mike McCarthy room at 3 other teams.
My guess is the Cowboys take their time on this because I think the Cowboys are probably have in their mind's eye, is Sean Payton maybe going to be available? Oh. They'd flirted with him for a long time. I know he just signed a contract extension in New Orleans. He'd probably take draft compensation. And then the last one, and this one I would call a 1%er, but I don't think it can be dismissed. If Robert Kraft says to Bill Belichick, you are re-signing Tom Brady. I am coming in, and I know you have full football control, but you don't actually. I made you trade Garoppolo, and now I'm making you re-sign Brady. I wonder if Belichick doesn't say to himself, that, you know what, then I don't have a job here anymore. It says in my contract that I have full football control. If you're taking it from me, I want to see what my full options are, because I believe either Brady or Belichick. One of them's gone from New England. I think it'll be Brady. So I think Sean Payton is like a 5%er. I think Belichick being on the move's closer to a 1%er. But I'm sure Jerry Jones wants nothing more than a giant, splashy, big-name hire. It's probably one of the reasons they like McCarthy. He won a Super Bowl. He has some cachet to him. So I would just I think he's going to keep his options open for a bit.
If Belichick went to Dallas, the days of Jerry Jones puppet mastering would be totally over.
Correct.
Completely. All right, let's take a break. It is a fun conversation, though. Coming up, has Tom Brady played his last game with the Patriots? That's next on First Things First.
He be back.
Somewhere.